Hey guys, welcome to day 60, whatever it is, 65, 66, can't remember. But today we begin with the fact that it is the first Tuesday of the month. Now, what does that mean? Well, that means that you guys, developers out there, get some free assets. So, open up your browser, Epic Marketplace, and scroll down and we'll take a look at what we have this month. So we have bank building, interior, modular, ultimate FPS puzzle kit, modular sci-fi village, character body FX, Niagara, and Poly Town. So let's have a look at them. Remember guys, just add them to your checkout and place the order. It costs you nothing, and even if you don't use them on your current project, these things are always useful to have just in case your next project is going to be like a Poly Town based builder or something like that, or indeed just to find out how certain things work and then adapt them for any project you're actually working on. So let's have a look at what we've got. Right, here we have pretty nice looking modular, I would say American type downtown buildings. There's an interior office type space and another old style with exposed brickwork, both. Oh, this is meant to be a bank, isn't it? Right, okay, so this begins to make more sense here as a bank. There's a lot of queues, or as you guys would call them, lines. So I guess if you were doing some sort of a heist game, this would become particularly interesting for you. Right, but obviously you can use the assets if you needed like this rope queue thing. You could use that, or plastic seating. So always remember that you can take stuff out of certain assets, use them, repurpose them for something else, like these chandeliers or whatever. So always bear that in mind. Right, you've got this ultimate FPS puzzle kit. Right, so I know I watched the video earlier on this, and this is like a weight thing, so that these stairs are down until you put this onto here, and then the stairs come up. Right, so pretty cool. It says first person puzzle kit, but I'm pretty sure you could, I would say it's not really a first person puzzle kit. I would say it's a puzzle kit that you could amend to make whatever you like. Now these things are like, if anybody's ever played the Talos principle, these are kind of like that, where you get these beams that bounce off mirrors and hit other things and stuff, right? And that opens a door or whatever, right? And there's various things, so you can obviously join them together where you put a cube here which switches on a beam which hits another, then you need to direct it in a certain way. So yeah, so interesting stuff. This is like a slider that you move up along this track. You can move the cube along the track. As I said, you could adjust this to be like a lever on the floor, so that you could amend it into some sort of an older style puzzle, you know, like in a Tomb Raider type thing, where you move the lever to a certain point which moves a block a certain amount along here that you need to, that then triggers opening this door or something like that, right? But as I said, Never take these assets at complete face value in two ways. Number one, never expect it to work exactly how you expect it to work, because it probably won't. And these things never do, right? And take things in them as individual objects that you can use as well, right? So you can repurpose things from this into something else, right? So yeah, so like say you just needed a big scoreboard timer, you could probably use this, right? Even though that there's no puzzles in your game, but for some reason you quite fancy the look of that, then why not use it? Right, and then we have examples of the blueprints, etc, etc. So yeah, that looks decent, or looks like it could be interesting to use or put into your project in some way, or parts of it. Right, and the next one, Modern Sci-Fi Village. I've not had a look at this yet actually. Right, so we have vehicles here. Interesting. We have the buildings. Again, think of this not as you're going to use the whole asset, but more that you're going to make use of some of the assets. Right? So if you were making like a surviving Mars or something like this, you could use this outline as a building and then change everything inside or whatever, and there's this stuff here, then you could use this as like a housing complex or something. So yeah, pretty nice. You've got this very stylized staircase, also these floodlights, and the vehicles, and yeah. So you've got sort of spacey. Now, here's the thing here, I can't zoom out, but you've got a couple of carpets here that you could use for other projects. If you were to do an interior, as I said, you could just migrate those carpets out into your project and you have already built. Now this is so there you have the carpet as a standalone asset. These are obviously the standalone assets here. You've got a few things, pretty nice. And have a look at these as well, because these give you ideas on things. Like, oh, this looks quite interesting, I could use that in my game if I changed the colours and added another part or something. Right. So yeah, very interesting. There's all the parts broken out. Again, you could use this, then change the colours for a grid system if you wanted that as your base grid block. And again, you could do this as a material, then change the colour. So if you were doing some sort of an XCOM game, you could maybe use this as, well, you could use quite a lot of this as an XCOM, in an XCOM game actually. Right, but you get the idea. Next one is basically it's different effects, right? Now I'm quite interested in this one, right? But not in its base form, okay? I would be interested in having a look at, this is the other thing you do, right? That even though you might, right, obviously you're probably not going to use coin heres. Yes, we're looking at the new assets, we'll always have a look if we remember. Right, so these are coins, right? But they don't need to be coins. If you like the effect, but you wanted some other mesh to fall off, then you would probably just need to duplicate the Niagara system, right? And then change the mesh that gets created, right? Or, alternatively, you could actually like expose the mesh to your blueprints and then change the mesh on the fly that you're going to use, right? So that's kind of the way I would do it here. These are obviously buttons, right? But the guy's obviously used assets he's got to show different, if you watch the video, right, you'll see that there's different effects. Like, for example, on this one, everything drops, you know, like all drops to the ground as if he's dissolving, right? But as I said, all you need to do is go into use this as a template for your version of it, and I'm actually going to use it. These are just using like blocks, kind of simple shapes for the same effect. Again, a different type of effect there, and using rocks and a sort of laser effect, kind of futuristic type thing. There we have some sort of plant life, I suppose you could describe it as, and sticky sticks, I believe, sticks, twigs, whatever you want to call it. And these look like mirror type things, right, which I would expect would probably bring a normal computer to its knees if you switched on reflections, right? But yeah, there's also a fire one there which I didn't see, right? Because I'm interested in the fire one, right? And what I intend to do, yeah, it's going to depend on the reflections really. If you're not switching on real-time reflections, then it's probably okay, but if you switch on real-time reflections, then it's probably going to cripple the damn thing. But anyway, right, I'm interested in a fire one, but I'm not interested in the way that they've done it, or I am slightly, but my way of doing it would be basically your spawn rate would start low and then lerp up, right? So I would expose that as a variable in the spawn rate and then basically gradually up it, which is going to give you the effect of as if the fire's getting worse, right? Now it's not going to give it an effect of spreading because that's not part of the logic. But what it would do was gradually, like, the fire would start small and then end up all over them. Now, the other thing you could do with this, right, is this is based on a skeletal mesh, right? But there's no reason why you couldn't do it or amend it to work with a static mesh, right? And if you do that, then you could have this kind of system. And if it was like fire, you were interested in the fire one, then basically, for example, in my project, then I could use it on this house, right? Okay, so the fire would start on the house. Okay, now that would take a bit of amending, right? But it depends your level of knowledge that you could amend that. Next one is Simpoly Town. Again, a lot of people won't be interested in this as it is, right? But always make sure you get these just in case, because you never know what might tickle your fancy for your next project or your next learning experience, and this might be just the ticket, right? So never ignore any of them, even how obscure it would seem for you, because you just never know when you're going to need one of these things. Right now, obviously, this is very stylized, but that might be what you're looking for, or you want something simple that's probably very performative because of the simplicity of the buildings, etc. So yeah, never ignore any asset, because there's always something there that either A, you wonder how they done something, or B, you want to straight out use it, right? So yeah, and that, my friends, are this month's assets. So personally, for me, let's have a look. What might I use? I might use this, but as a base building block for particular things. Like, the intention was, right, if you remember rightly, guys, or maybe you don't, but here's the thing. The idea was our parasite monsters, right, could only be killed with, yep, you guessed it, fire. Okay? Now, the interesting thing is that I can now basically add fire to him when we hit him with a fire arrow. Okay? And I can make it get worse and worse, i.e. up the spawn rate of our particle system, and then basically add that to his behaviour where he might start falling over while he's on fire, right? So that's how I might do something like that, or use something like that. And the other one is probably this. Not necessarily in its current form, but I would certainly maybe load this in and see how a couple of things work, right? And then maybe use it as a template for a puzzle that I do or something like that, right? So don't think of these assets as these are the way you're going to use them, right? Think of it as learning tools and possible assets that need updated for use in your project, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you one, right? I'm going to show you one. Now, I've already added all of these, obviously. So I know this one's called body. So the easiest way is just to add this to the project. Okay. So we're going to add it. Now this is going to take a second or two, probably not because it's loaded up. Right. And the next thing we can do is we can go in here and if we go mesh, add component, Niagara particle system, right, and we'll just name this NS fire for Niagara system fire, and basically we can say NS I think it is body fire. Right, now this then gives us some overrides, so we can source that to attach to parent. Then this weird thing is, right, that it doesn't have a spawn rate, okay, which I would have thought it would. Now, under normal circumstances I would switch this off, but I want you guys to see it, right? So I'm just going to leave it on. We're compiling shaders, right? If we go to the viewport, so just give it a second till we do our shaders. What do you guys think of the assets this month, and what ones do you think you guys are going to use? Or do you not think you're going to use any? Oh yeah, we want to cast a shadow, why not? Right, do we have... No, we don't. Right. So, funnily enough, right, the first thing I would do here is I would go to there, right, and this is our Niagara system, right, and the interesting thing here would be well, first of all, I would compile that. Right, now the first thing I would be looking at doing, right, is looking at the spawn rates, and I would be changing these. Yeah, Medgard, that's the idea. That's exactly normally what I do, right? Not very often, but if I'm interested in how something works that I maybe can amend and use in my development, then that's what I do. Right, so you've got this spawn rate of 1,000, right? What I would actually do in this case, right, is I would make sure you guys can see this better by changing the widget reflector. Come on. Right, let's see this. Let's make this more visible to you guys. Do that. Right, hopefully you can see that better. Right, so you'll see this here as a spawn rate of 1,000. Right, now you can also see it here, right? Here is our things here. So what I would be doing was looking at each of the spawn rates. That's 550. Right, so I would find the lowest common denominator. Right, the smoke hasn't got a rate, so that's okay. Right, I'd look at this, and this has got a spawn rate of 80. Right, so what I would basically do is like get a factor and then basically do the 4, right? Right, so I would basically do the spawn rate multiplied by whatever. Right, so let's say the spawn rate here is 80, right? So if I multiply everything by, or divide everything by 80, then we get 1, right? And then for this one, we get 7. No, we don't. 6, right? So 1, 6, and probably 12, right? So I would find a way of factoring these so that I could then take one number, multiply it by the factor, and then set these all the spawn rates of these to the correct factor, right? So you can see there our guy. I'm not too keen on the smoke, to be honest. Oops. Right, we're not bothered about Viking Male B at the moment, that's for sure. Right, but if we press play here, you can see our guy there, right? So I would basically use that as like a basis for something, right? But yeah. And you'll notice the smoke has one spawn point on the ground. Right, you maybe want to do something where the spawn point is all over the body. Right, I think the effect is a bit strong, right? The particles are a bit big, so I would maybe change that down a bit. But you've certainly got a basis for something to play with, right? So that's the way I would look at it in this context for an asset like this, okay? But that's not what we're here for today. We've got something else to be playing with, or not playing with, but fixing. Right, we're doing today a bit of interface work. Okay, now we're going to be using this BPI worker spawn, okay? In fact, I'm not going to do that, right? Because that is slightly different. What I'm going to do is I'm going to create another one, right? So we're going to create a blueprint and interface, and it's going to be BPI NPC worker. Okay, now the first thing we're going to do with that is set job enum. No, set job set anim BP job. Okay, and it's going to be job, and it's going to be worker job. We're going to save that, right? And the next thing we're going to do is in our BP master, we're going to open it. So in our BP master, class settings, and we're going to say BPI NPC worker. Okay. Then in our female, you'll notice that she's going to have it. I'm just going to make sure she's got NPC worker, which is fine. Then we're going to have to go to her NPC base BP, and this is actually going to be, we're going to go here, we're going to add this, compile it, and we're going to say event set anim job. Okay, now this is because we've got multiple blueprint animation blueprints and multiple skeletal meshes, right? But we don't want to cast, so if we just do an interface call to our animation blueprint, then we should be good. Okay, so whoops, didn't mean to do that. Now this is the first part of this, right? So what we're going to do now is we're going to copy that, and we'll probably update this later, right? See this pawn? We don't want to try and get the pawn every time. If we can set it on begin play, then we only ever need to do it once. We know that the pawn is an NPC master, right? So we don't need to do anything more than that. So for example, right, what we can say is, we can say pawn, right, and it's NPC master, okay, and then what we can do is on begin play, we can do that. Okay, we can cast to NPC master. Then we can get our pawn and set it. Okay. Now we can test this, right, by just adding a breakpoint in here, right, and compiling it. And if we can spawn the female, it'll break, as in it'll hit our breakpoint, right? So if we hit 5, right, as per usual, it will take the Mickey, right, 5. It's going to take Mickey. At 5. Well, that's unlucky, isn't it? For some reason I can't seem to get the lock to spawn the female. Have I switched off the female or something? Don't think so. I think I'm just very unlucky. Well, that's interesting. That's interesting. Because that didn't set the pawn. And this is why you test things, guys, because you find out that something's not quite right in the grand scheme of things. That's beginning to annoy the crap out of me. Okay. So that tells you one thing and one thing alone. It's not using that. Or if it is, right, so let's have a look at our female, right? Right, this is our female. NPC base PC underscore F underscore C, right? And that's the one we're using. Right, now that is bizarre because we don't have a female character, I don't think. And the more interesting thing is why this isn't firing. So there must be a female somewhere. And for some reason, this is not firing. Not that it matters, right? Not that it matters, because at the end of the day, this is the thing we're interested in right now. To make sure that we can fire this. Okay. So, there's two things we need to do here. Well, actually, No, there's not. What we need here is once this is set, okay, so once we've set all this, this montage to play is going to get removed, but for the moment, right, I'm pretty sure anim, get anim instance, right, and then what we're going to do is set anim bp job, and it's going to be anim job message, right, and this is going to be the target. Okay, and our job, damn it, our job is going to be that. Okay, so now we want to see when this, if we hit this. Okay, so we're going to hit play. Five. That did not hit it. Right. So our question has to be, why did this not hit? Right. Interesting. Right, it's not her, him. It's him again. Right, I'll tell you what. Can't. Let's wait. Right. So we're going to there. Step over. Step over. Got our mesh. Right. We've got our MPC base PP underscore C underscore F. So if we step in here, it does go to there. Resume that. Right. There's our female. question is, can we see that? Right, tell you what, we're going to stop this. And to prove the point that this is working, now it did appear that that worked, right? Which is exactly what we want. It was just in the first place it didn't seem to break. Right, so I'm going to print string. Right, 30 seconds. And there. Then we're going to have to go into our pawn, because we're printing the walk speed in event tick from the other evening, so we need to get rid of that. Okay, let's see where we are. Yep. Okay, we just need to get rid of that. Save that. Press play. Right. F5. Right, so it's doing its thing. Resume chopping wood. Right, so that is the first step for what we need to do, right? That is our current job. Okay. Now, what we have done, we need to do now, is in our NPC interaction, and that's not it, it's in here somewhere. In our NPC interaction, which is actually not there, where it actually is if I remember correctly, it's not a blueprint. It's the function library, I believe. Right. It's this one here. Yep. So this thing here, what we do is not play the montage, okay? What we do is we set it to working. Okay? So, what we're going to have to do is in here, now I'm not 100% sure on this one. I probably don't need to add, oh no, we can't do it. Okay, so we have our NPC master. Okay. So what we're going to have to do is go to our NPC master right? And we're gonna have to create custom event. Set anim working. And we're going to say is working. Okay. And we're going to have to go into our blueprint here. Right, and we're actually going to have to set another event in our MPC interface. Set is working. Set anim is working. Okay. And that's going to be true or false. So we're going to have is working boolean. Okay. So I'm going to take a quick break, guys, for a cigarette. If you're enjoying the stream and the content, hit like and subscribe. Check out the description for links to the game's Discord, my personal Discord, Patreon, and my previous game on Steam. I'll be back in about 4 minutes. Don't go anywhere, folks. Okay guys, we're back. So let's get on with this, shall we? But let's have one more look at something. I want to check the footy. Alright, nothing much to get interested in there. Right, so the next thing we're going to do is in our NPC interaction, okay, instead of doing this, we're going to set anim is working. And we're going to say true. Okay. And we're going to bypass this and we're going to go to this. Now this doesn't complete the picture. In fact, yeah, it's not this. We need to set this off. When we stop working, right? But we'll worry about the working first to make sure this works, because I'm not 100% guaranteed that this will actually work. We might get the same exact result as we did before. Okay, so we know that this is working, so we can resume that. Off she goes. Oh, there. That's okay so far. We do quite like that. We're okay with that. But we want in here we need to do the interface call. Right, so basically in our NPC worker, set anim is working. We should really rename this, because we've got it the same name, which isn't good. Well, it's actually not the same name, so it should be set anim is working. Except we shouldn't do that. Set anim is working, and it's going to be the message. Set anim is working. Right, we get a reference to self. And that goes in there. Okay. So we go into our blueprint, set an MVP job, right, and set anim is working. And we set this here. Okay, now we have got one more issue. Right, so we're going to save that, and we're going to see how far this actually gets. Okay, so we're going to add a breakpoint here, and this might not be self, right? We may actually have to get the animation instance. Okay. Or we might need to do that and instance. And do that. Okay. Compile that. And run. We're due a couple of mails. So, that's her. That didn't fire. Right, so what went wrong? Add a breakpoint there. Resume that for now. Is that just constantly firing? Right, F5. Right. So that is her, I believe. Okay. And this is a freaking nightmare. Right. This obviously does not work in the way I think it works. Or there's something else going on. Right, what we're going to need to do is remove our two guys. Or actually, to remove I'm just going to say yes. I'm going to delete him. We're going to delete him. We're going to delete him. We're going to delete that, that, and that. Right, so basically, we're going to delete that. So we've only got the one that is going to interfere, so that we can see now what is actually interfering. Right, nothing. Okay. Five. Okay. Cool. Right. So that works as expected. Okay. Now, why it's going in there, I have no freaking idea. Don't get it. Do not get it. Right? Do not get this at all. What we can do is we can add a breakpoint here. Right? And this is the fun you have with assets that you didn't make. Right, see this here? This is annoying the crap out of me. Right, we're going to say is valid. Right, and you can go there. And you can go there. I am absolutely fed up clearing that window. That error window. Right. Goes there. And the false goes there. Right. Dismiss, dismiss. Five. Off she goes. Right. There we've got our branch, right, which is fine. What is our NPC? Is female. So, in actual fact, that's interesting. So, we should be firing this, right? But for some reason, it's going into this NPC master begin play. Right now, the only way that I can see, let's just do one thing here that I think might be the issue. Right? No, but look, it's doing it. It's doing the begin play. But it doesn't seem to actually do the event begin play. Event begin play. Right, if I remember right. Oh, for goodness sake. We do add call it parent function. Right. Try that again. As I said, I'm not 100% sure on why those were kind of greyed out. I don't know if that actually affected anything, but we're going to take a look, and we're still getting an error somehow. We're just going to close that for now. Right. It's not the important issue at the moment. I just want this. I might have done all this and it's not going to work anyway, which would be quite hilarious. Well, it's not really hilarious, but... And it isn't all for nothing either, right? Because it's practice doing certain things. Right, so now we've got our thing. Resume. Step into. Still goes to begin play. Why is it going to begin play? I can only assume it's because of this. Right, so let's fix that then. Alright, so we say is valid. I'm practically getting to the point, guys, that I'm going to rewrite this goddamn asset because there's so many issues with it. There's so many issues. That is driving me nuts. Right, and as per usual, just to annoy me even more, it's going to start spawning the guy. Right. Okay. Resume. Step into. I don't get it. I don't get it. Right, here's the problem. I'm going to add the breakpoint there, right? Right, so it's ran. Okay, it's ran. Step over, step over, step over, over, over. Okay. Struggling on this one at the moment, guys. I'm struggling on this one. I don't know why. That's setting the tool mesh, etc. I'm going to add the breakpoint there. I'm going to take that one off. Resume. Right, I'm going to have to stop that. I'm going to have to press play again. Five. I never understood you better. I'm constantly stuck. I don't know what that's supposed to mean. Step over. Step over. Right. I'm going to stop that. Okay. what I'm going to do is I'm just going to basically switch this off. Right. I'm going to press play. Right, Aladies, I don't know why you're even doing anything with C++. I've got absolutely no idea. You're just going to get yourself even more confused. Right. Play. Yeah, but I'm not stuck because I don't understand it. I'm stuck because I'm working with an asset that's basically screwed. That basically functions in a way that is just not that great. Right. So she's got there, right? And we have our NPC. Then we resume. Then we get to here. We say anim is working. And we step into oh, it's doing it in C++. Just forget that then. Just type in Unreal Engine 5 skill system blueprints, because you can do it in blueprints. Right, this update widget is a bloody pain in the ass. I don't even know what this widget is supposed to be. I know it's a debug widget, but I mean, come on. And we shouldn't be managing hunger anyway. I mean, look. Right, it says start hunger system. I've not started it. Right, but it's still running. I mean, seriously? Right, sod off hunger. Right, unbelievably. Right, what in the hell is that? Right, it did something but didn't. Okay, It did something, but it didn't. And this should be BP master. And it should be going in here. But it's not. Okay, whatever. I'm going to copy this. Because I'm doing a custom event on that. Right, okay. What I'm going to do here is we're going to do something. It's actually an animation blueprint, isn't it? So we can't actually do that. Come on. Think. Why is it not coming in here? What? No, that's the wrong thing. That's why it's not working. Set anim working. It's that. God damn it. That's the beep. Ah. Well, that explains a lot. And that's why, guys, you should never name your things as close to each other as I have, because you get caught out like that. Right. Resume. Ah, look at that. Look at that. Step over. Step into. Is working. Resume. We still get the same problem. Okay? But it does work. So, the question is that the correct chopping? right? So I think what we need to do here, right, is look at these characters, right? Look at this. Go to the mesh. Right? And the problem here is this character has not got right, hang on a second. Right, we've got F tree chop, we've got NPC chopping wood, right? Tree chop, and we've got tree chop vertical loop. Right, now, as far as I'm concerned, these are all the same thing, right? Now, if we go to this character, okay, this skeletal mesh is using this. And that's using that, which is right. Now, the only thing I can think of here, right, is in here, right, we've got our animation graph, okay? We don't actually need this anymore, because the full body thing is for the montages, but because we're not using montages, it should be fine. Right? Now, I'm just thinking here, I don't know what that means. Right, I don't know what this actually means. Okay. Now, what I'm thinking is, if I put this straight into working, right? If I press play, Hi Abandoned, how you doing, bud? If I spawn her, she should immediately start chopping. Even though she's not. Which is awesome, obviously. Well, you know something? That worked quite right. The problem is her hair and her dress. Her hair and her mesh don't sync. Okay, that's as simple as that. Her hair and her mesh don't sync. For whatever reason. If anybody's got any ideas out there, let me know. Right, cause right. So got no idea, guys. Got no idea why. Right, because the thing is, right, if we look at her dress, okay, we can go to here. Right, and we can see apparently we can't. Right, this is the animation blueprint, right? So it's NPC base female. Okay. It's not that. Right, we've got F tree chop. Right, now, if that was correct, this would work. Right? Because you can see that it's obviously working, but under So it's F tree chop, right? So I'm going to close that for now. We're going to go into here. We're going to go into here to our default. We're going to plug this back in here because it basically bounces straight out here anyway because it's not working, right? But this thing here, this is, we're going to do animations, job animations, this one, and it's called F tree chop, right? F underscore tree chop. Okay. Then we're going to press play. Then it's not going to work. Then I'm going to get upset. Right. 5. Try that again. Spawn the female, please. 5. Right. This is going to be, I can tell you, this is going to be one of these that's a stupid little button that you need to press, right? A tick box or something, right? But it's going to be obscure. Right? So we can see that it's working properly except for the head and the 2 skeletal meshes, right? And the female, right? It's this one and this one, right? I don't get it. Let me try something. All right. What I'm going to do is I'm going to say sod you, right? I'm going to say sod you because we're not using, and I'm going to say that. I'm wondering if basically because these are set to the top sections are set to full body or something, right? It's doing something weird because of that. And that's why it's not playing any montages against those particular things. Right? Again, that is purely speculation for me. I'm just guessing because I'm kinda stumped at the moment. That didn't work either. Okay, Well guys, I'm going to leave it there. I'm going to have a cup of tea and think about this. So if you've enjoyed the stream, hit like and subscribe. I appreciate it a lot. Check out the description for links to the Discord for the game and my personal Discord, plus Patreon and my previous game on Steam. I'll be back in 4 hours time at 8 PM Central, so I hope you can join me then, and I hope to see you there. So thank you guys for watching. Bye bye for now.